Fellas, let's talk about relationships. Not just any relationships, but the kind that feel like grabbing a tiger by the tail. You know the ones, exciting one minute, terrifying the next. They consume your thoughts, challenge your patience, and leave you wondering if it's the best kind of crazy or just plain crazy. We've all been there, head over heels, completely caught up in the rush of a new love. But what happens when the sparks start to feel more like a fire you can't control? When the passion turns into a roller coaster of emotions that leaves you exhausted and unsure. That's the thing about intense relationships. They're powerful. Like a tiger, they command attention, demand respect, and can leave you feeling completely overwhelmed. And just like trying to hold on to a wild animal, trying to navigate these relationships can be exhilarating, terrifying, and leave you wondering if you'll make it out unscathed. Now, before we go any further, let's get one thing straight. Intensity doesn't equal love. It might feel like it at first, all those butterflies and stolen kisses. But real love, the kind that lasts, isn't built on constant drama and uncertainty. It's about respect, trust, and a deep sense of partnership. Intense relationships, on the other hand, thrive on chaos. They hook you in with their passionate highs, but then drag you through the mud with equally intense lows. It's a cycle that can be addictive, leaving you craving the good times even as you dread the inevitable crash. And here's the kicker, guys. These relationships often bring out the worst in us. We start second-guessing ourselves, trying to please the other person at the expense of our own needs. We become obsessed with keeping the peace, walking on eggshells to avoid the next blow-up. But here's the good news. You don't have to live like that. You don't have to be at the mercy of someone else's emotions, constantly reacting instead of living. This video is about taking back control. It's about understanding why these relationships hook us in, how to recognize the warning signs, and most importantly, how to navigate them in a way that protects your heart and your sanity. Whether you're currently tangled up with a tiger of your own, or just want to avoid getting caught in a similar situation in the future, this video is for you. We're going to break down the signs of an intense relationship, explore why men often stay even when it's unhealthy, and give you practical strategies for either taming the tiger or walking away with your head held high. This is about more than just relationship advice, guys. It's about self-discovery, about setting boundaries, and about understanding what you deserve. It's about becoming the kind of man who can handle any challenge life throws his way, including a relationship that feels like a wild ride. So buckle up and let's dive in. Alright guys, let's talk about how to recognize when you've got a tiger by the tail. Because let's be honest, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between intense passion and a relationship that's straight up unhealthy. We get caught up in the moment, blinded by the excitement, and ignore the red flags waving right in our faces. So, how do you spot those stripes? It starts with paying attention to how the relationship makes you. Does it leave you feeling energized and inspired, or drained and constantly on edge? Do you feel like you can be yourself, flaws and all? Or are you always walking on eggshells, afraid to rock the boat? Remember, a healthy relationship should lift you up, not drag you down. It should make you feel good about yourself, not question your worth. If you're constantly feeling anxious, insecure, or like you're walking on a tightrope, those are telltale signs that something's off. And it's not just about your emotions. Pay attention to the dynamics of the relationship. Is there a sense of balance and equality, or does one person constantly call the shots, leaving the other feeling powerless and unheard? Do you feel respected and supported, or criticized and controlled? One of the biggest hallmarks of an intense relationship is the constant emotional roller coaster. It's a wild ride of extreme highs and lows, leaving you feeling like you're strapped into a runaway train with no brakes. One minute, you're on top of the world. The next, you're crashing down, wondering what the hell just happened. These swings can be addictive, guys. The highs are intoxicating, filled with passion and excitement. You feel alive, desired, like you've finally found someone who gets you. But the problem is, those highs are often followed by equally intense lows. Arguments, jealousy, drama, and a whole lot of emotional baggage. And here's the thing about roller coasters. Eventually, the ride has to end. And when it does, it can leave you feeling dizzy, disoriented, and wondering what you just put yourself through. The constant ups and downs take a toll, leaving you emotionally exhausted and unsure of what to expect next. If you find yourself constantly on edge, bracing for the next emotional explosion, that's a major sign you're dealing with a tiger. Real love, the kind that lasts, is built on a foundation of stability and trust, not constant drama and uncertainty. Another telltale sign of an intense relationship is that feeling of constantly walking on eggshells. You know what I'm talking about, that sense of dread, that tightness in your chest, because you never know what's going to set her off. One wrong word, one misplaced look, and bam, you're in the doghouse again. This kind of environment breeds fear and resentment. You start censoring yourself, afraid to express your true thoughts and feelings for fear of triggering another outburst. You become a shell of your former self, tiptoeing around your partner, trying desperately to keep the peace. But here's the truth, fellas. Walking on eggshells isn't love, it's control. It's about one person holding all the power and the other constantly trying to appease them. And let me tell you, that kind of power dynamic is toxic as hell. You deserve to be in a relationship where you feel safe, respected, and free to be yourself, quirks and all. You shouldn't have to constantly monitor your every word and action for fear of setting off a landmine. If that's the kind of relationship you're in, it's time to take a step back and reassess. Now, let's talk about another sneaky sign of an intense relationship: approval addiction. This is when your self-worth becomes so entangled with your partner's approval that you'll do just about anything to get it, even if it means sacrificing your own needs and desires. You crave her validation, her compliments, her reassurance that you're good enough. You jump through hoops, bend over backwards, and twist yourself into a pretzel trying to please her, hoping that this time you'll finally get the love and acceptance you're desperately seeking. But here's the thing, guys. True love doesn't come with conditions. It's not something you have to earn or constantly prove yourself worthy of. When you're with the right person, they love you for who you are, flaws and all, not for who you pretend to be to win their approval. If you find yourself constantly seeking your partner's approval, changing your behavior to please her, or feeling like you're never good enough, it's a sign that you're caught in a cycle of unhealthy dependence. Alright guys, we've talked about recognizing the signs of an intense relationship. Those red flags that tell you something's not quite right. But here's the thing. Even when we see the warning signs, even when we know deep down that something's off, we often stay. We hold on, tighter than ever, even when it hurts. Why is that? One word: pride. As men, we're often conditioned to be strong, to be providers, to never show weakness. The thought of failing in a relationship, of being the one who walks away, can be a tough pill to swallow. It can feel like a blow to our ego, a chink in our armor of masculinity. We tell ourselves we can handle it, that we can fix it, that we're strong enough to weather any storm. We don't want to admit defeat, to ourselves or to anyone else. And so we stay, even when every fiber of our being is screaming at us to run. Pride isn't the only thing that keeps us stuck in intense relationships. Fear plays a major role too. And I'm not just talking about the fear of being alone, although that's definitely a factor for many of us. It's deeper than that. It's the fear of the unknown, of what life might look like without her. We get so used to the chaos, to the emotional roller coaster, that the thought of peace and stability can actually be terrifying. We worry about starting over, about finding someone new, about facing the judgment of friends and family. And so, we cling to what's familiar, even when it's hurting us. But here's the thing, fellas. Fear is a liar. It tells us we're not strong enough to handle change, that we're better off settling for a love that leaves us feeling empty and unfulfilled. But deep down, we know that's not true. We know we deserve a love that sets our soul on fire, not one that leaves us feeling burned out and broken. The truth is, there's a whole world of possibilities waiting for us on the other side of fear. There's a love out there that will make us feel truly alive, that will challenge us to grow and evolve without diminishing our spirit. But we'll never find it if we're too scared to let go of what's no longer serving us. Another reason we hold on, guys, is guilt. We see the hurt in her eyes, hear the desperation in her voice, and we feel responsible for her happiness. We tell ourselves that if we just try a little harder, if we just love her a little better, she'll finally be happy. And then we think, maybe we'll be happy too. It's a heavy burden to carry, this belief that we're solely responsible for another person's emotional well-being. But here's the hard truth. You can't make someone happy if they're not willing to make themselves happy. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't fix someone else's internal struggles. Staying in a relationship out of guilt is a recipe for resentment and misery. It's like trying to swim with an anchor tied to your ankle. You'll only end up drowning both of you. Remember, you deserve to be with someone who chooses you, not someone who needs you to fix them. Let go of the guilt, fellas. It's not your job to save her. Focus on your own happiness, your own growth, and let her do the same. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is to walk away and allow someone the space to heal and grow on their own terms. And then there's obligation. We've been together for so long, invested so much time and energy, it feels wrong to walk away. We think about the memories, the shared experiences, the promises we made, and we feel bound by a sense of duty to stay, even when our hearts are no longer in it. We worry about hurting her, about disappointing our loved ones, about the logistical nightmare of separating our lives. So we convince ourselves that staying is the right thing to do, the responsible thing to do, even if it means sacrificing our own happiness. But here's the reality, guys. A relationship that's held together by obligation is a ticking time bomb. It's built on a foundation of resentment and compromise, and eventually, it will crumble. You deserve to be in a relationship that's chosen freely, every single day, not one you're obligated to stay in. Breaking free from obligation takes courage, but it's a necessary step towards living a life that's true to yourself. It's about prioritizing your own needs, your own happiness, and recognizing that sometimes walking away is the bravest, most loving thing you can do for both of you. So you've recognized the tiger, felt its claws, and decided you're not ready to let go just yet. That's your call, fellas, but understand this. Taming a tiger is no walk in the park. It takes guts, patience, and a whole lot of self-awareness. Before you even step into the ring, you need to choose your battlefield wisely. This isn't about winning or losing, it's about creating an environment where both of you can thrive. It's about shifting the dynamic from chaos and control to one of respect and mutual understanding. And that starts with honest self-reflection. Ask yourself the tough questions. Why am I holding on to this relationship? What needs of mine are being met, and which ones are being neglected? Am I willing to put in the work even when it's uncomfortable? And most importantly, is she willing to meet me halfway? Taming the tiger requires effort from both sides. If she's not willing to acknowledge the issues, to work on herself, and to meet your commitment with equal intensity, then you're setting yourself up for a losing battle. One of the most crucial steps in taming the tiger is establishing clear, firm boundaries. Think of these boundaries as the bars of a cage, containing the tiger's wildness and creating a safe space for both of you to interact. Without them, you're just asking to get mauled. Boundaries are not about control, they're about self-respect. They're about communicating your needs, your limits, and what you will and will not tolerate in a relationship. This could mean setting boundaries around communication, like no more yelling or name-calling, or around personal space and time. The key is to be direct, assertive, and consistent. Don't be afraid to say no when you need to, and don't back down from your boundaries just to avoid conflict. Remember, you're teaching her how to treat you by showing her what you will and will not accept. This won't be easy, fellas. Tigers don't like being caged. Expect resistance, pushback, and attempts to test your resolve. But stand firm. Your willingness to enforce those boundaries will speak volumes about your self-worth and your commitment to creating a healthier dynamic. True strength lies in vulnerability, in authenticity, and in leading by example. Show her what it means to be emotionally stable, to communicate effectively, and to take responsibility for your own actions. Focus on your own growth, communication skills, and emotional intelligence. Understand her motivations and patterns with empathy. Talk to her, listen without judgment, and encourage self-exploration. Be honest with yourself about your willingness to be patient and supportive. Sometimes, no matter how much effort you put in, it's just not enough. If her intensity continues to drain you, you have every right to walk away. You deserve a love that sets your soul on fire, not one that burns you down. Letting go takes courage, especially when it means disappointing someone else. Choosing yourself means recognizing your own worth and understanding you deserve a love that nourishes your soul. If taming the tiger feels impossible, it might be time to let go. Create space for a love that honors your true self. Letting go of an intense relationship needs to be clean and precise. Be direct, honest, and kind, but firm in your decision. Avoid blaming, focus on your own needs and feelings, and expect resistance. Stand firm in your decision to walk away. Letting go is a process, not an event. Allow yourself to feel the full spectrum of emotions without judgment. Remember why you chose to walk away and reach out to your support system. Be patient with yourself. Letting go of an intense relationship is an opportunity to rediscover yourself. Reconnect with the things that make you feel truly alive. Embrace the freedom and allow yourself to be surprised by the person you're becoming. As the dust settles, you'll find a newfound sense of peace and strength. You'll have learned valuable lessons about yourself and your boundaries. Be ready for a love that honors your true self. You are worthy of a love that lifts you up and makes you a better man. Recognize your own inherent power to choose your path and define your worth. Take back the reins, set boundaries, and make choices that honor your authentic self. You have the power to create the life you desire. There's strength in knowing when to let go. Letting go creates space for new possibilities and experiences. Trust that there's something better out there. Choose to live a life that's true to yourself, filled with passion, purpose, and authentic connection. Recognize that your worth comes from within. Be the kind of man who knows he's worthy of love, respect, and a life that lights him up. The tiger is a reflection of a part of ourselves that craves intensity. Taming that part of ourselves takes awareness, discipline, and self-love. True strength lies in mastering ourselves and choosing our own adventures. Take radical responsibility for your own happiness and growth. Carry the strength of the tiger, the courage to face your fears, and the wisdom to know when to let go. Go out there and claim the love that sets your soul on fire.